On February 24, 2022, Russian tanks stormed into Ukraine from all sides. Moscow expected a quick victory. Kyiv would fall in days, Ukraine's government would collapse, and the world would watch in silence. Missiles rained down on cities, air raid sirens blared, and families fled into the night. The world's experts predicted Ukraine would crumble within 72 hours. But as the invasion unfolded, something remarkable happened. The Ukrainian people didn't panic or surrender, they resisted. Instead of a swift collapse, a fierce spirit of defiance emerged across Ukraine. Ordinary citizens and soldiers alike stood their ground. The world watched, stunned, as Ukraine refused to become a footnote in Russia's history. The Kremlin script was already unraveling. The story of Ukraine's resistance was just beginning. The world had underestimated the will of a nation fighting for its survival. Ukraine was about to surprise everyone. The Russian advance met a wall of resistance. An entire nation mobilized. Teachers, shopkeepers, and programmers became defenders overnight. Civilians built barricades, made Molotov cocktails, and even used tractors to tow away Russian tanks. Unarmed people blocked convoys with their bodies. The Ukrainian military, reformed and battle-hardened since 2014, struck back with ambushes and sabotage. Volunteers delivered supplies under fire. IT experts waged cyber war. This was a society fighting for its very existence. Ukraine's message was clear: it would not be conquered. In Kyiv, President Zelensky refused to flee, declaring, "I need ammunition, not a ride." His defiance inspired the nation and the world. Meanwhile, a massive Russian convoy threatened Kyiv, but it stalled, crippled by poor planning and Ukrainian attacks. Small teams armed with Western anti-tank weapons struck and vanished. Drones like the Bayraktar TB2 destroyed Russian armor, their footage boosting morale worldwide. The convoy, once a symbol of Russian power, became a monument to failure. Zelensky's leadership, Russia's blunders, and Ukraine's smart tactics changed the war's course. The old rules of warfare were shattered. Ukraine proved that agility, technology, and willpower could stop a giant. The world was watching and learning. By late March, Russia's plan had collapsed. The blitzkrieg turned into a costly, grinding disaster. Russian troops, expecting to be welcomed, faced fierce resistance and heavy losses. Thousands of soldiers and hundreds of vehicles were lost. Forced to retreat from Kyiv, Russian forces left behind destruction and evidence of atrocities. Ukrainian towns were liberated, but the scars ran deep. Ruined cities, shattered lives. The defense of Kyiv was a stunning victory for Ukraine. But the cost was immense, and the horrors of occupation would haunt the nation. The first phase of the war was over. Ukraine had survived, but the struggle was far from finished. Ukraine's defense stunned the world and rewrote the rules of war. A smaller, determined nation had stopped a superpower using technology, intelligence, and sheer will. Real-time intelligence and portable missiles gave Ukraine the edge. The myth of Russian invincibility was shattered. The world rushed to support Ukraine, inspired by its courage. But this was only the beginning. The war was shifting east, promising new horrors. The Battle of Kyiv secured Ukraine's survival, but the fight for its future had just begun. Ukraine had won a battle, but the war for its freedom was far from over.